Abura Abure. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Good morning, happy Sunday. You guys, I am so excited because we just got finished experiencing a really awesome ceremony, ancestor staff. So she came over. She is our soon-to-be godmother. She is a priestess. She's been a Oshunstress for over 20 years. And first we went to the farm, then we came back, we cleaned the chicken. Actually, before we cleaned the chicken, we did some other ritual stuff first. We fed the staff and we had a chance to cleanse my aura and all that stuff. I prayed, of course. It was just a beautiful ceremony. We consecrated the sacred space of where the ancestors are. Virgil's ancestors and my ancestors will be sharing an altar together. We do now. And after that ceremony, we talked. We went in there, we cleaned the chicken, we dipped it in hot water, we plucked the feathers off, cleaned out the guts. She showed me how to do all this stuff, and we're going to be working closely together because she wants me to be her right-hand person and show me all the secrets eventually. So I'm so excited about this experience, and of course I'm going to share whatever I'm allowed to share. But the reason why I was so adamant about getting an ancestor staff is because that's how you actually call upon them. Like you can so totally do it without it, but it's more I guess more of a connection. And I feel I had this worrying feeling at first because there's been so much stuff going on with my family, so I've had this worrying feeling about some family members, preferably, you know, my son. There's a lot of things going on in the neighborhood that I'm not really keen of, I don't really like. And my son's 17 years old. He likes to be out with his friends and stuff on the weekend, and I hadn't heard from him. So, you know, he left the house early that morning and was hanging out, which is normally what he does. But I think it was just a part of me that was emotionally attached to a lot of things going on in my life. Like in the line of field that I do right now, I'm a behavioral health specialist, yoga teacher, and Reiki master. So I deal with energy, and I'm always getting phone calls from clients, and I manage everything well, and I don't like to roll things over onto my personal life. But when we're doing something so intimate with loved ones, ancestors, and stuff like that, and I guess I just got a little overwhelmed, a little worried. So I was a little worried about my son after the ceremony. But for the most part, I was able to manage, you know, to enjoy the ceremony and focus and do my prayers and stuff like that. And I'm just excited that we had a chance to consecrate the staff and everything, because it was quite an adventure when we went to go look for it. Yeah. So we are learning a lot about Orisha, and we have decided to continue to move forward in our YouTube channel talking about Orisha. We're not going to always have videos about Orisha, but for the most part, while we're on our journey, we're going to share what we can. We took a long break because we've been super busy. I've been super busy with a ton of things, and so has he. And so we have decided to do
a series on 2 Orishas. Well, we're going to talk about the different how would you say that? The
different aspects of the Orisha.
Different aspects of Ifa. You know, it's, you know, 3 different sides to him that all
in each Orisha. Like for example, we're going to be talking about, what's the name of the Orisha that you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about that first.
Oh, Ifa first? Okay, for Ifa first.
Yeah, Ifa is first, because you know, those 3, you need to know the different levels of him and be able to understand them, because all 3 sides of him pertain to you, and you know, you really need to know that. I've come across, because our whole goal is to get a homestead going, and one of the Orishas in charge of homesteading is it Oku? And
Orisha Oku.
And when I was researching some things about him, it comes to find out he has a lot of pacts or treaties, or a lot of, some people would say, allies with other Orishas, and we don't hear about that stuff. You know, Oku is a very important Orisha, but you don't see so much about him. You know, he's the Orisha of Earth, not Earth as whole, but the surface of Earth.
Crops and things of that nature.
Land. Where he has a pack where him and Olokun, because where Earth meets water, that's their pack. Babalulaye, he has a pack with him. Oya, Shango. I'm still researching to see if he still has one with Ogun and Ochosi, but he has a lot of packs, and it's just, we're going to start a series and you know, with the Patakis about their stories and how, you know, it relates to us. And you go literally to the earth to give your offerings for these Orishas. You give it also to the mothers. Okay?
Oh.
So,
speaking of the mothers, can I intervene?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. My favorite part, one of my favorites. So I also was able to give the mothers some of the what do you call what's inside the chicken?
The
the ashes.
Yeah, ashes and organs.
The ashes.
People don't know what that is.
Yeah, which are the organs. So I was able to give the mothers when night falled with just my bare skin. I went out in nature in my backyard, and I gave some of the ashes to the great mothers. And that is so, whatever work that you do, if you have a relationship with the mothers like I do, not everyone is supposedly able to go to the mothers. In fact, if you don't know if you should go to the mothers or not, don't just go to the mothers, because it can totally work against you. And so what you have to do is make sure your offering is accepted. May the offering be carried, may the offering be accepted, may the offerings set divine forces in motion, and also may they work for me and never against me. So with all that being said, I gave the ashes to the mothers so that whatever ceremony that me and my new godmother to be, our new godmother to be, whatever work we did will not be spoiled by the mothers, because they can spoil it out. They can cancel out your work.
And please, if it's not written, or if it doesn't come up in a like it's a part of my Odu that I'm supposed to work with the mothers, but when I've received my last reading, it says it's not time for me to work with them. So they're waiting. It's a certain step, but if you don't have that step again, don't do it.
Don't.
Because they are a very special class, and you do not. You might have good intentions. They might take it like
you don't have the authority nor the luxury to come to me.
Right, and
so don't.
You know, we didn't summon you to come. Don't do that.
Totally no. Big fat no.
You better. And I may be stepping out of boundaries. You better off not practicing than go against and then go and do that if they don't like you, if they don't want you there with them, because you're just gonna turn everything on top of his head until they're ready to stop it.
And so I do have to announce some news. We are going to also move towards having a another way that people can access us, where we can actually set up tiers. I think it's called Patreon account, where we can actually set up different tiers and you guys can become members, because a lot of times people don't want to share certain things if you're not a part of their Ile, or they don't want to share certain things if you're not a part of their house with Ile. But our goal is to build a strong, solid community. And so we are going to share some intimate details, not a lot of stuff, but for an example, what the mothers are, why it's important to have them working with you and not against you, how to even go to the mothers, because you can't just go to the mothers. There's a certain type of ritual way that you have to go to the mothers. And if you were paying attention, or if you need to rewind a little bit further, I'll give you one aspect of how to go to the mothers. Now, all the stuff that we have talked about on our channel, you know, I think I made a video a while ago about how I received my Eleke. So during that part, I was not working with who I'm working with now, which is a big difference. 20 years of experience, tons of experience. Not 3 years just being a Ianifa. No, a whole priestess for 20 years. In addition to being linked to the house of Ferminita Gomez. Before she even started, that was the root of where the houses were developed and came from. Which came from our other Babalawo, the one who gave me the Elekes and him the Elekes, which wasn't supposed to do it that way. Not everybody would feel bad about that aspect. He did kind of warn us a little bit and tell us that he was supposed to have someone else there with us. So I don't really feel too bad about that, but we already talked about that. So my whole thing is that we want to start developing a community with all of our new subscribers and our old subscribers, because we want to get you guys the meat and potatoes to this, because as you guys know, we've experienced going through some hell. We've talked about some things we talked about some things kind of like not direct, but somewhat of direct, so that you guys can know that after initiation, it's not always peaches and cream. So if you really want to go into this, like we haven't had our initiation where we had our Orisha crowned on our head, but we have our warriors, we have our, you know, all the other stuff you guys are aware of that's seen our videos. And so now it's just time for us to start taking it up a notch, you know, study as we go. We're not rushing, but we are finding out some pertinent information, and we really want to share it with the community. And, you know, like I said, not everybody will agree to how some people do things. So that's why it's best to not say anything, but I would rather share this with the people that are willing to listen, willing to learn, and willing to trust, because we're not asking for any money. We're just asking if you really want to be a part of learning and you want to share what you know, and we can cross references, that we're going to develop a community together where we're going to start our Patreon account. We're not going to do it right now. We want to get a little bit more further, but we're just putting it out there so that if you guys are ready, when you guys get ready, you guys can sign up. And I'm sure it will be like a couple dollars, you know, a month for you guys to have that membership. Nothing too bad. But, you know, we're going to be spending time doing this, and we're working diligently to make sure that we feed our Ori with the right information, because that's so important.
And one thing we won't be entertaining is the back and forth of which route of Ifa that you go down. You know, whatever route that you go, you know, you have to be respectful of stuff. You know, it's people who been in the faith for decades that don't know everything. So there won't be no back and forth about you should have went Esheshe, this group is racist, this is that. At the end of the day, it still comes from Ifa, and it's an African tradition.
Oh, and speaking of that, let me just jump in. I always do this. If you don't have a relationship with your living family members, like your mom, like your dad, like your grandma, like your uncles, get it together, okay? At least get it together to where you can communicate in a respectful way. I'm not saying go be best friends. I'm saying be respectful. Pay homage to where homage is due, even if you don't like them, even if you totally disagree with them. You need to show your respect, because they are the ones that got you here. They were here before you. They birthed you, and this is a whole ancestor traditional lineage. No matter which way you go about Ifa, it's all about tradition. It's all about ancestors. Ancestors, ancestors, ancestors. Shango was even an ancestor. Javier said, get off your butt. He was even an ancestor. Baba Luaye was even an ancestor. So get it together. If you don't have that relationship with your people, get it together. Try to, you know, just be respectful. Never disrespect. You know what I mean?
Because this is an ancestral way of life. If you can't treat the immediate living ancestors, which is your family, your living relatives, with just respect. You don't have to be the best of friends. Just be respectful. What makes you think that your grandmother or your great uncle that passed, who love your living relative, is gonna bless you from on a spiritual realm, and that's gonna, if you're treating this person wrong and they love that person?
Preach.
That makes no sense at all. So you have to be respectful. Like, I didn't agree with a lot of things that I grew up with when I was a child. But as a parent and as a father, I love the heck out of my mama.
I love the heck out of my mama too. And my mama was not the best parent growing up for me. The way I experienced my mother, no. My kids ask me, why do you even, you know, do this, and why do you even, that's because I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I know how I'm going to be able to be linked, to be able to go into that and even enter into that portal. And can't no godmother with no Ebo and no padrino save ya if you ain't got no relationship with your living relatives.
Right. So without your
ain't no Ebo gonna do it, boo.
Without your living relatives, you won't be able to have really access or any type of favor from your ancestors, unless your living relatives is really being jerks or even worse. Then yeah.
No.
But
even if they're being jerks.
But I'm saying you still have to be respectful. But then yeah, but at the same time, your ancestors that's on the other side, that's looking down to you, that's looking at you to finish up, you know, help finish up what they were supposed to do, or to help you bless them so that that lineage can keep passing out, because the lineage goes beyond time. You know, your ancestors they want to keep that line going down. They want that blessing. If you ain't being blessed out here because you treating, let's say you treating your mother wrong. So if you treating your mother wrong, what makes you think that you're going to be blessed by your ancestors? Those are mothers. And the older generation will not tolerate disrespect, no matter where they at. You know, so the old school still rules. And all of this new stuff, new parenting stuff, y'all can take that crap and throw it out the window. It ain't no timeout in the when the ancestors punish you. You ain't going to no corner. They're gonna come in your dreams. They're gonna let you know your car might break down and you ain't got the money. You might need some gas money. Ain't nobody gonna call. Your phone might go out at the wrong time. All kinds of stuff. And they gonna let you know that they did it. Because they gonna let you know, yeah, we here. You needed to get it together because you're not doing what's planned, what you came down here to do. You can't disrespect, especially your paternal, your parents. Or your grandparents, or none of that. Man, I would not be alive if I did.
And you can't think that you can threaten people with Ifa.
Yeah,
Ifa this
Ifa's
and
not
Ifa
a weapon. Ifa is not a weapon towards people who do right with Ifa. Who Ifa is blessing. How can he go? Common sense, man. Like I don't get it. It's like
the next time somebody say Ifa gonna get you, that's who gonna get got. Like, come on,
man, like, why would Ifa? Ifa already got me. He got me in the good graces, in his good graces, making sure I'm doing right and doing things that needs to be planned, and I'm living a righteous life. Sure, he got me.
And I don't know who this is for, but get your stuff together, boo. And stop threatening folk with Ifa, okay? You ain't even got a relationship with your own relatives. Whether it's your cousin, your brother, your sister, your auntie, your uncle. You ain't even got a relationship with them.
So
you ain't even on speaking terms. You talking down about them, and you done did wrong.
So if you ain't living right with you need to get your stuff together with your living relatives before your ancestors, because your ancestors created or they loved your living relatives.
Especially the ones that's doing right with the ancestor staffs and altars and what have yous. They're connected.
Yeah.
You're not.
So, with that being said,
may the offering be accepted. Aboyu Abore, whatever you call it.
Wow.
Okay, I'm practicing, guys. I'm still practicing. Abaru, Abore, Abose,
Abois.
Abois.
Yeah.
You say it.
Abaru, Abaye, Abois.
Abaru, Abore, Aboris. May the offering be carried. May the offering be accepted. May the offering set forth divine motion. May the mothers work for you and not against you. May your Ifa work for you and not against you. May your Eshu work for you and not against you. And I think that you would know if it was working against you. So, thank you guys so much for tuning into our channel. And peace, love, and blessings, gods and goddesses, moons and suns. Moon represents feminine energy and sun represents masculine energy, right? Right.
Ashe.
Ashe.